Hey everybody, glad that everybody's here. I just wanted to do this video to try and show a little bit more detail of how Khan Academy can be a inspiration for us, and in regards to our programming and how we want to organize it. At our last meeting, we talked about how Braun showed us the videos from Khan Academy on one-step equations, so I wanted to stick with that. As you can see on the screen, this is one-step equations. Um, we also discussed, Brandon, Assad, and I, about how to organize the workflow for a particular lesson and storyboard it out. And what we decided is that it's going to be the ideate section where the concept is introduced to the student, and then there would be a actualization section where the students would actually put the concepts into practice, and then the reinforcement session, which would solidify the knowledge of the student. And then we thought about maybe adding a game at the end, but that's not really that necessary. But the reason that we thought about this was we wanted a workflow that worked. And looking into Khan Academy, they have a similar workflow. So here we have the videos, and these are the two videos that they have for one-step equation. Braun, I think you showed one of these videos to describe how the concepts were drawn up on the board and simplified for the students. Now, for the actualization section, we storyboarded a situation where it would have them actually in the 3D space actually work out a problem within that space. But I just wanted to show how Khan Academy does it, and this is their version of the actualization section. So here they have a reminder of how the process works and an explanation of how the process works and an example. So then here's an example of a possible equation. K plus 22 equals 29. We want K by itself. Now, how do we do that? Right? It says here we can subtract, and then they actually show it out, and then that's the answer. So then we check the work by plugging the number in and doing it this way. Now, I know maybe some people are thinking, oh, but this isn't the way that Common Core does it. I'm not actually quite sure how Common Core does it, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is just to show the process of explaining something to the students in this world, right? And then they give you another example. And then what I like is here, then they have some actualization questions. And if you look here, there are 4 dots. One of them is green. That means that there are 4 questions. So here they give you which operation would help solve for y. So they're asking you what it is that you have to do. This is the process that Braun was talking about. So what is it that you have to do? So now here we have to solve for y. We have to isolate y. And how do we do that? Well, do we do it by adding 6 to each side? No. Do we do it by subtracting 6 from each side? Yes. So then we click on that. You see that it highlights. And then after applying the correct operation to each side, what is y? So then you would do the math in this situation. And it would be 6 minus 52, which is 46. So we check the answer. Oh, both of them are correct. Now, again, they're not being scored on this because this isn't about getting points at this stage. This is the actualization stage. This is getting them to practice the concept, to understand the concept, and put it into practice. So next question. Again, so I'm just going to speed through this. So now we're subtracting 3 from each side. No, 3. And then the answer is 24. Check. Next question. Again, we do it again. So now we're adding 13 to each side. 13 plus 35 is 48. And next And then, oh, look at that. They flipped the question around to see if we can get screwed up. Nope, we're still adding 13 to each side. And the answer is still 48. And since that is the last one, we are done. It's saying go to the next video, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is then show you what they do. So they have these practice quizzes on the side. So here's a practice quiz. This is what I would call the reinforcement stage, right? And these practice quizzes, why isn't it popping up? Let me try again. There we go. So practice quizzes work like this, right? So it's x minus 9 equals 1. Now, if you're stuck, they give you the option of watching the video or using a hint. So here's the videos that you could rewatch to help you understand what it is. Obviously, we would be doing something different. Maybe we could have them go back into VR and review what that is. But that's something that we could figure out. And if that didn't work, we could get a hint, right? So here's the hint, and it actually goes through the process for you. It begins the process for you. It doesn't tell you what it is. So now look, we add 9 to both sides, and then it becomes x equals 1 plus 9. So then what is 1 plus 9? X equals 10. And then you can get the other hint, and x equals 10, right? Now, if you use the hint, you do not get a point. So down here, you can see your score, right? So if we hit check, we got the answer correct, but we didn't get a green dot. Why? Because we used the hint. Now, we'll go on to the next question so we can see what that is. All right, so here we have 20 equals r plus 11. We have to subtract 11 from both sides, and the answer would be 9. You see? Now we have a score. Now, what I didn't tell you is that for this quiz, you have to have a minimum of 5 questions right, or I think 4 questions right, in order to be an acceptable grade. However, that doesn't get you mastery. We'll talk about that later. Next question. Right? So now we have 24 minus equals y plus 19. Subtract 19 from both sides. I know the answer is 5, but just to show you what happens when you choose the wrong answer, you hit check. Oh, it says not quite yet, and then you can get help or move on. Obviously, you could get help. Actually, I'll show you that right now. How do you get help? So we hit get help, and everything pops up for you again the same way that it did before when you asked for the hint. So now the answer is 5. But again, I'm not going to get a point for it because I had to ask for help. Now, next one. The answer is 5. I'm going to move ahead because I want to show you what it's like. The answer is 7. $18. And the answer is 1. Now, the questions do not repeat. So say you did this again, it won't be the same questions. And if it might be the same questions, they'll definitely be in different orders. So it's not like the students will be able to redo the same questions over and over again. There's an algorithm or something that gives different questions so that the students aren't repeating the same questions over and over again. So now, the other thing is if you do get the right answer, you can also then go see how the question was answered to review that afterwards. I'm sorry for the noise behind me. All right, so now after it's finished, you can do a summary. Now the summary will tell you, oh, you are over the limit, so you can move on, but you're not considered proficient yet. In order to be proficient, you have to get a perfect score. Now 7 out of 7. And then you will get 80 out of 100 points. In order to get the last 20 points, you have to answer the unit test correctly. All right? So, looks like I'm running out of time with this video, but I'll stop there. I think that using a process like this coupled with an incentivized point system would make it work. As you can see, I've got 80%. If I want to get 100%, I have to go to the end unit test. Where is it? I have to go to the end unit test right there.